Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over my final team selection for Double Game Week 25. So if you're excited for the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Leave a comment, how is your team shaping up for Double Game Week 25? How many hits are you taking this week? Subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, I've already made one transfer so far this week. I did have 2 free transfers, so I've still got 1 free transfer in the bank, but that transfer was Patterson out and Tarkowski in. I was going to kind of, I don't know, chance my luck and see if Patterson was going to take part in like any of the games or something, but he's literally just had another knock in training, so he's not going to be playing in Double Game Week 25. Potentially could be playing in Game Week 28, but I didn't think that was worth just keeping this player whose price just keeps going down, because I think he's going to go down to 3.8 soon as well if he already hasn't. I didn't think there was really much point of keeping him, especially because Tarkowski was going to rise in price as well. So I did the transfer from Patterson to Tarkowski before Tarkowski went up to 4.4. So I got him in for 4.3. I should have got him in for 4.2 to be fair. If I made my transfers earlier on in the week, I'd be in a much better situation right now. But either way, I tried to play it safe just in case there were any injuries in the Champions League or the Europa League or anything like that. And there wasn't. Although I think Rashford actually potentially may have took a knock last night, but again, we'll get more information about that anyway. Like Ten Hag will do the press conference before the Carabao Cup final and stuff, so we'll find out more about him then. So yeah, I've still got 1 free transfer in the bank. Mitrovic looking very unlikely to be playing this weekend, but we all know what happened last time, that he was unlikely to play. He went and got a double-digit haul, but I kind of just want to get rid of him anyway. I'm not a fan of owning him. He's just been an absolute just horrible player to own this season. Again, I've had him when he's missed 3 penalties and he scored 1 goal, and that's the game that he got the yellow card in, so he couldn't even play in the second game in the double game week. So been an absolute nightmare to own Mitrovic this week, well, during the whole season. But anyway, yeah, we've got Spurs away for Kepa. Of course, the back line, we've got Tarkowski, Ake, and White. Again, I kind of need to wait for press conference news on Ake as well, because if Laporte's still ill, I'll feel a lot better about playing Ake this week because he's more likely to play. But if Laporte's back, Ake has just played 90 minutes in the Champions League, so he's very unlikely to play in that Bournemouth away game. So that would also only field me with 10 players if Ake doesn't end up playing. So that is another problem that I've kind of got. But obviously 2 of my defenders have double game weeks. And then in midfield, I've got Rashford, who of course I'm going to be swapping my team around with my final transfers and stuff. Andreas Pereira, who's got Wolves at home, who I feel like is a bit of a differential this week. I've not really seen many drafts at all with Andreas Pereira in, which is understandable because, you know, he doesn't have a double. But if he goes big against Wolves, it could actually really help my rank. Anyway, I've got Odegaard and Saka, who both of course have a double game week. I currently have my captaincy on Saka, but that's because I don't have Salah in my team yet. And then yeah, up top we've got Mitrovic, who again most likely not going to play, and then Kane, who's got Chelsea at home, and then Haaland, who's got Bournemouth away. So I really don't like my team right now at all. Technically I've got 9 playing players, potentially 8 if Ake doesn't play against Bournemouth. He might come on anyway and get like a point, but at the same time you kind of need more than that in a double game week. So yeah, I'm gonna say that I've got basically worst case scenario 8 playing players. But of course I do have 4 doublers, so that obviously extends those 8 playing players to an extra 4 games. But of course a lot of people do own like 6 double game weeks, 7 double game week players. A lot of people are just jumping on Everton and Liverpool players, which I completely understand because Everton do not blank in game week 28. Liverpool have a chance of not blanking in game week 28. I think a lot of people are just kind of putting all their eggs in one basket with Liverpool, and then if they do end up blanking in game week 28, they'll just free hit. Whereas if they load up on Liverpool players now and then they don't, and then they do play, obviously they can just save their free hit for like game week 29 or something, which is obviously, it's going to be a lot better to use your free hit in game week 29 because it's a big double, and also you don't have to worry about owning players like Kane and Haaland and stuff who are only going to play once in that game week, who don't necessarily have great fixtures either. Like I think Haaland has Liverpool in that game. And so you can load up on double game week players, and then obviously your free hit will end, and then for game week 30 you'll have all of those players back, so you don't have to lose any of them, which is a really positive, like a really good positive about free hit in game week 29. A lot of people are bench boosting in game week 29 as well. A lot of people are wild carding in 27, free hitting in 28, and bench boosting in 29, which I quite like as well. And I'm kind of umming and ahhing about doing that because if I do wild card in 27, it will allow me to just get a bunch of Brentford and Brighton players, and then I'll be set for that doubles. I'll be set for those doubles, and then I'll be able to free hit them in 28, and then of course have all my players back in 29 and be able to bench boost and just have like 15 double game week players or something like that. Well, not 15, but around that. So I kind of like that plan, and then I'll just have to deal with the blank in a little bit later on in the season. But that's kind of a nice little idea that a lot of people are kind of toying with right now, myself included. But anyway, this is how my team is currently shaping up for Double Game Week 25. Let's move on to my transfers. So I do have 1.4 mil in the bank with one free transfer left. And of course, I've got 4 blanks this week. And then, of course, I've got Mitrovic, who's not playing. And then also Ake, who's probably not playing. So one option that I could do this week is, of course, what I was kind of always toying with originally is Bruno out and Mitrovic out. And then I can obviously bring in Salah. And then I can also bring in Just as well, because there's been so many price rises and price falls. Like, I could make this move so easily at the start of the week. I had like 0.6 in the bank, and that's like 0.2. It's actually a bit ridiculous. And then, yeah, bring Gnonto in for Leeds, who's got Southampton at home, which is a really nice fixture, and I think would be a little bit of a differential this week. And then that would give me 11 playing players, barring whether Ake plays or not. And it'd give me Salah as well, which obviously is somebody that I need in my team. The only problem with this is I don't own Darwin Núñez. I own no Liverpool defense, which again, I'm not really super worried about Liverpool defense. Like, they're just not very good at the moment, but I would much rather have them than not have them, obviously. But at the same time, it's not something that I'm just going to take a bunch of hits to get into my team, because I understand that the logic this week about, like, if you're getting rid of a blank player, and then you're bringing in a double for them, it kind of counteracts the hit, which it does, because if you have a player like, I don't know, Shaw, for example, who's blanking this week, so he's going to get you 0, and then you take a hit to get rid of him to bring in Trent, who's going to play 2 games, and he's going to get at least, if they don't concede like a bunch of goals, 4 points regardless. That counteracts the hit, and that's not taking into account, like, that's not taking into account returns and stuff. Like, 1 clean sheet and you're laughing. At the same time, though, I feel like there will be a little bit of rotation around that Liverpool back line. I think if you bring in Robertson, I think Simicast might start one of the games. If you bring in Trent, I've got the idea that, I know that Gomez had an absolute shocker in the Champions League, but he could also play right back. Milner can play right back. They could get subbed early. You know, Trent, I believe, has been subbed in like the 45th minute this season. So all those things could definitely happen, especially because Klopp will want to get some sort of result in the Real Madrid game, because, you know, 5-2 on aggregate right now. They need to do something. And so he might want to rest his best players for that Champions League fixture. But I don't know. I'm not 100% confident that they are going to be playing 90 minutes in both games. It's the same with Liverpool attackers as well. Like Darwin Núñez, a lot of people are kind of umming and ahhing about him because he's going to play like 60 minutes in both games, which I think is enough for Núñez, because he's got, like, that's plenty of time. 120 minutes is plenty of time to get a couple of returns. But the options like Gakpo and Jota and Firmino are also back now, so that's going to hurt his minutes. I think Salah is the only, like, properly nailed player, and I don't really want to be taking hits to bring in players that I'm not confident will 100% start both games, because then if they don't, you are still losing points. And I know it's nice to have a double game week, but I mean, I had Ake for the Man City game week and he got like 1 point or 2 points or whatever. Like, it's just what happened in the double game week. And so yeah, that's why I'm not like properly convinced about Liverpool players and stuff like that. So that's why I'm only really opting in to bring Salah, because he is a player that I know is going to play both of those games. He's a 90-minute man. He's on pens. He's just the best option to bring in. And it will only cost 4 to bring that player in. It also allows me to get rid of Mitrovic as well. The only other problem with this is that I can't really easily get to like a Tony or a Watkins or something, because I'd have to get rid of Salah or something, or I'd have to downgrade Kane, which is another reason that I kind of want to wildcard in 27, because it would allow me to get rid of Ake. I wouldn't have to bother about having like Everton players and stuff, because I know I'm free hitting in game week 28, so I can just get rid of those players and bring in players that are going to double in 27. And so I just think for my team, it is quite a nice option. On the other hand, I could still free hit in 28 and not wildcard in 27 and then just wildcard in 29. I think I had a look at my team and I could get in like, with a hit, I think I can get in like 2 Brighton players and a Brentford player for 1 hit, which I'm not completely against. Then I can just wildcard in game week 29, but that also stops me from bench boosting in 29. And I don't really know what other game week I'm really going to use my bench boost in the season, because once you use your bench boost, you don't have to worry about your bench. You can start bringing in players that don't play. Obviously barring like the blanks and stuff, make sure you're ready for those. But yeah, you can start kind of using those funds elsewhere in your team. So yeah, I'm a big fan of 27, 28, 29 using chips, and I feel like I did something similar to that last season as well. Can't remember what happened, but I'm pretty sure I used all my chips in a row, and it did actually help my season out quite a bit. I think it was like wildcard, triple captain, and then bench boost, or something similar to that. Anyway, it was like that whole big Salah thing where you like popped off and I wildcarded instead, but I still finished with an alright rank. But anyway, yeah, so that's one move that I could make, is Salah in and Gnonto in and Bruno Fernandes and Mitrovic out. The other thing that I could do, which again I'm not 100% sold on, is Bruno out for Gakpo, and then for Mitrovic I can bring in Darwin Núñez. But the big problem with this is that I don't have Salah. And again, as I've just been speaking about in the minutes, like, it'd give me double Liverpool, but I don't know if Gakpo starts both. I think Jota will start ahead of him in one of them. And the same for Darwin. I mean, Firmino could easily start ahead of him in one as well. Especially because he still has that shoulder injury. Like, I don't think he's completely fine. Like, I know that he did just play in the Champions League and stuff, but he did play 60 minutes in that. He could still be having that shoulder injury, and we just wouldn't know much information about it. So that's another route that I could take, which again would give me another double game week player. But I don't know. I feel like Gnonto 90 minutes against Southampton, I think, is quite a nice fixture for him. I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit of a differential as well, especially if I'm wildcarding in Game Week 27. It's not like a massive problem. And then, yeah, like I say, if Leeds do beat Fulham in the cup, then, you know, a lot of people will not be free hitting in 28, but I will still have to, which would be I'll probably still have to anyway. I might be able to get away with it, but I don't know. I don't think I want to be in a position where I'm taking hits on a blank game week, because you're not going to get many points back regardless. So I think this is the option that I could do. The other one is, of course, taking a -8, which I'm not completely against. And instead of Kane, I bring in Darwin Núñez. And then instead of Mitrovic, I bring in somebody like Watkins. And that's just kind of putting all my eggs in one basket and hoping that Liverpool do not blank in 28. Because I know that Watkins won't as well. This is more like going for the non-free hit in 28, which, again, I'm not completely against, but that would give me 3, 4, 3. That'd give me a lot of players. I'd just take a -8 for it. So I don't know if I want to go without Kane. Like, Watkins, I think, is a pretty good option, especially with the games they've got coming up, like Everton, Crystal Palace, West Ham, and Bournemouth is really nice. The only other problem with this is that Tarkowski is playing my attackers in both game weeks, so I'd have to want him to, like, concede in both games, so there wouldn't really been much point of bringing him in. So yeah, this is something that I'm definitely eyeing up. It gives me an extra double game week player. Obviously gives me Salah as well. So I don't know, -8 really, because I'm basically taking a hit for Mitrovic, who's probably not going to play, for Darwin, who hopefully makes it to 60 in both games. But again, I'm not confident about that. And then also I'm getting rid of Kane for Watkins. I don't know if a hit to get rid of Kane for Watkins is really that decent, unless I use my free transfer on Kane to bring Watkins in, and then use my hits to take out Bruno Fernandes and Mitrovic for Salah and Darwin. It sounds a lot better if you do that, because you're taking a hit for the blank, but on another day I'd be taking a hit to get rid of Kane for Watkins. It just does Watkins outscore Kane in the next 3? Or, I mean, and obviously he does play in Game Week 28. I don't know. I'm kind of eyeing up this move a bit more, but dude, -8's horrible. It's a horrible thing to take a look at. But the thing about this is I still might not even have 11 playing players if Ake doesn't play. So I think I need to wait for the press conferences, see if Ake is going to play, and if he is, then I think this might be the direction that I take. I don't know. It's just not going. I mean, it helps that Kane's got Chelsea at home this week. It's just the week after, you know, Darwin against United and Salah against United. It's just like that whole situation where I think Kane definitely outscores Darwin over the next few games after the double, and especially because Darwin might not even play in Game Week 28 as well. So I don't know if I really like this move that much, but I don't know. I just don't have the money to upgrade Mitrovic to Watkins. If I did, I'd definitely do it. But unfortunately, I'm just a little bit out there with that kind of money. I'm definitely not affording that. Again, I could go Gakpo instead, but it's just not worth it. So I don't know, either Salah and Gnonto or Watkins and Darwin and Salah. I don't know, either a -4 or a -8 for definite this week. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the press conferences. That's everything for today's video though. If you enjoyed, please do drop a like down below, leave a comment. Who are you bringing in this week? Subscribe if you're brand new, and until next time, best of luck with Double Games 25, and peace.